The nature of the thought is of two types. One is directive nature, another one is propulsive nature. The directive nature of the thought is also connected with the individual perception of oneself. The propulsive nature of thought also is connected with individual perception of oneself. But the difference is, in both the things, you start with I have to perform something. But when you hold on to the directive nature of the thought, it moves from action to action, step to step, and it is able to accept whatever the situation is, whether it is according to your expectation or not according to your expectation, according to the desire or not according to the desire. It studies the situation and it understands what more could be done, and then it proceeds with more hope, with more positive frame of thinking, and it advances further. So directive nature of thought, it understands, it studies even the failure, even the lack of proper conducive situation, outside or inside, and it proceeds further. But the propulsive nature of the thought, whatever situation it faces, it goes on getting hyper, goes on getting disturbed, goes on getting worried about it. So, for example, when one takes up a task and one had to present something regarding it, and there are few people who are listening to it, few are not listening to it, few are responding to it, few are not responding to it. The directive nature of the thought doesn't get disturbed because somebody is not listening, somebody is not responding, but it goes on presenting it, but it will analyze what more could have been made to make it more interesting, make it more appealing, make it more penetrating into the hearts of others. But the propulsive nature of the thought immediately gets disturbed. I don't know why they are not listening. I don't know when I am talking why they should not give attention to me, and why they are not accept what I am saying, and why this is happening. It should not have happened like that. I don't know why this is happening only to me, why this is happening only now, why this is like this. All this is the propulsive nature of the thought. So, propulsive nature of the thought misleads, gives us dissatisfaction, deviates us, distracts us, and will not make us or allow us to do what we want to do. And it will give us dissatisfaction. This is where the ego goes into wrong direction, wrong channel. The negative side of the ego manifests when there is more inclination towards the propulsive nature of the thought. But when it's with the directive nature of the thought, it studies, it analyzes, it understands, it enhances the strength, it knows about the limitations and weaknesses, tries to substitute them wisely with strengths, and proceeds ahead. Always, that also is done by the individual as an ego only. But that will take us to educative side of it, not reactive side of it. That's how we approach Sadguru, and we take the direction, we do the sadhana, we take up the mantra, we do all practical aspects, whatever Sadguru has suggested to us. The directive nature goes ahead. But the propulsive nature immediately wants something to happen, an experience to happen, or question everything why this is happening, it says it should not have happened, and it says why it should happen to me, it should have happened to somebody. All this is the propulsive nature. The propulsive person will always find difficulties, gets disturbed. That ego, the negative side of the ego, is manifested. But the directive nature will take up the lesson that the situation is giving, and it will proceed and exactly follow the direction of the Sadguru. The propulsive nature doubts even the Sadguru and even the lack of immediate result, and it will destroy itself. So the ego, following the directive nature of the thought in the mind, will uplift itself to such an extent that the intellect will be able to educate that ego and tell that ego what is the real one who is behind this ego, who is enlivening this ego, who is making this ego function, so that ego gets educated by the intellect, and then it will understand that itself is a false covering upon its real source, and it will disappear or it will merge into the real source because of the directive nature. The propulsive nature, when the ego that follows the propulsive nature, it will never move anywhere, it will go round and round in the same circles, and it will not take the best of the direction that is given by the Guru also, it will get into more confusion. So the best thing would be to offer our ego, whatever is there, at the feet of the Sadguru, follow the direction as Pujya Sri Swamiji has said, that whatever question arises, set aside that question, just follow the direction. Then you don't give room for the negative side of the ego to manifest. Do not give opportunity for any more doubts to linger. There is no need to satisfy every question, no need to satisfy every doubt, because doubts will never end, questions will never end for this propulsive ego. It goes on questioning. Even it realizes, then also it questions if it realizes by mistake. So the directive nature, once the Sadguru has given a direction, yesterday Pujya Sri Swamiji was telling also that don't look for anything. Once it comes from the Sadguru, just follow it. The direction has come, do it. So all that we have to do is purify our ego to such an extent that it simply follows the direction, where there will be no issue at all, no problem at all. But if we give room for the propulsive nature of the thought, every step there will be a problem, every occasion there will be a doubt. So that is why Pujya Sri Swamiji said, you set aside that propulsive nature and to own and hold on to that directive nature. So that ego will lead us to egolessness. Jai Gurudev.
Now, my question is only one question, last question, okay, I'm asking? Okay? No? Go and eat and sleep. Okay. Jai Gurudatta.